Have you ever felt a subtle unease, a nagging sense that the reality you experience is not entirely your own? What if the life you're living, the choices you make, and even the thoughts you think are not as free as you believe, but rather a carefully crafted performance directed by unseen forces? This isn't a question of mere speculation, but rather a critical inquiry into the very fabric of your existence, and the degree to which your autonomy has been subtly, and perhaps not so subtly, hijacked. Imagine yourself as an actor on a grand stage, completely immersed in your role, delivering lines and performing actions that feel natural, yet are all predetermined by a script you didn't write. You believe you're in control of your movements and choices, yet you are simply following a narrative someone else created. This is the essence of reality hijacking, a deliberate and often unseen manipulation of your perceptions, beliefs, and experiences, designed to keep you within a framework that is not of your own making, but for the benefit of forces that have been working in the shadows. It is a subtle theft, not of possessions, but of something far more valuable: your unique perspective, your power to create your own reality, and your inherent freedom to choose the path of your own life. This process is not accidental, but systematic, carefully woven into the structures of your daily existence, the very fabric of society, and the core of your personal beliefs, making it all but invisible to the untrained eye. These methods, often hidden in plain sight, are not some far-off theory, but an active process that impacts every decision you make, every thought you entertain, and every emotion you experience, ensuring that you remain within the confines of someone else's design and not your own. Much of what you perceive as reality is not a fixed, objective truth, but rather an illusion, a carefully constructed perception built upon layers of beliefs, assumptions, and manipulations. You might believe that your senses accurately reflect the world around you, that what you see, hear, and touch is the absolute reality, and this, in itself, is the illusion. The deeper truth, however, reveals that reality is far more malleable, a fluid and dynamic experience shaped by your consciousness, your perceptions, and your interpretations of the world. Consider how two individuals can witness the same event and walk away with drastically different understandings, colored by their own unique biases and emotional states. The reality is not one event, but two entirely different events, experienced through two entirely different filters of belief and emotion, each creating a unique individual experience, shaped by internal factors. This difference underscores a fundamental truth that is often overlooked, which is that your reality is not some pre-existing condition that is being perceived, but is a direct creation of your unique conscious experience, molded by your expectations and shaped by your interpretations. Therefore, if you change your perception, you change your reality, shifting your own personal experience. Understanding this concept is not just a matter of intellectual curiosity. It's the key to unlocking the chains that bind you to a reality that may not truly serve your greatest good, providing the foundation for understanding how external forces can manipulate your unique experience, which is, in itself, the true core of reality hijacking. To truly live in alignment with your own truth, it is not optional to understand the methods behind reality hijacking, but a necessary step toward personal liberation and self-mastery. This is not a journey into esoteric theories, but a practical guide for reclaiming your personal narrative, empowering you to live a life of conscious intention and genuine freedom. This knowledge is not just helpful, but essential, as it unveils the hidden mechanisms that manipulate our daily experience, revealing how external influences subtly shape your thoughts, beliefs, and choices, often without your awareness. Throughout history, those who have dared to challenge the status quo and reveal suppressed truths have often been met with resistance, persecution, or even erasure, which stands as a stark reminder of how powerful those who control narratives can be, demonstrating the very real risks that come with challenging these hidden systems, and at the same time showing the inherent value in doing so. It is not just about avoiding manipulation, it's about reclaiming your inherent right to define your own reality, to live by your own truth, and to express your authentic self, moving beyond victimhood and into self-mastery. This journey is therefore not just about understanding the mechanisms of control, but about stepping into the role of active creator, consciously shaping your experiences and fulfilling your unique potential, breaking free from the limiting constructs of a hijacked reality and into your own authentic expression. Understanding the nature of your own reality is not just a matter of intellectual pursuit, it's a fundamental requirement for personal fulfillment, purpose, and true happiness. If your perceptions are being manipulated, if your thoughts are not your own, and if your choices are driven by external influences, it is impossible to live a life that resonates with your core values and deepest aspirations, making true happiness feel unattainable, as it is always dependent upon the external. When you are disconnected from your inner truth and unaware of the forces that are shaping your decisions, you're essentially living a life that has been carefully laid out for you, not one that you have actively chosen. This external navigation often results in feelings of being trapped, unfulfilled, and perpetually chasing goals that were never truly yours to begin with, creating a persistent sense of unease that subtly degrades your sense of self. However, when you understand the nature of reality and the ways in which it can be manipulated, you become empowered to take back control, consciously shaping your experiences and aligning your life with your own truth and values. This transition not only enhances your sense of purpose, but also elevates the quality of your daily experience, leading to a profound sense of fulfillment, satisfaction, and true happiness that is not dependent upon external forces, but originates from within, from your own unique sense of self. This process empowers you to create a future that is not dictated by circumstance, but consciously chosen, a reality that is aligned with your authentic self. Reality hijacking isn't just an individual problem, it's a systemic issue that affects society as a whole, often manifesting in communities that are divided, disempowered, and ultimately less free. When the vast majority of individuals within a society operate from a manipulated perception, it creates a self-perpetuating cycle of control that is exceedingly difficult to escape, which reinforces the status quo and limits collective progress. Systems of manipulation thrive on division, creating a culture of fear, mistrust, and competition, which distracts individuals from recognizing the true source of their challenges and prevents them from uniting for common good. As these systems become entrenched, they undermine social cohesion, stifle innovation, and suppress individual expression, leading to societies that are largely homogeneous, uninspired, and unable to adapt to the ever-changing world. However, when enough individuals awaken to the reality of these manipulations and take steps to reclaim their personal narrative, it creates a cascade effect that has the power to transform the very fabric of society, leading to a more just, harmonious, and empowered world. Recognizing the methods of reality manipulation is therefore not just an act of personal liberation, but a revolutionary step toward creating a collective future that is built on truth, authenticity, and true freedom. This understanding allows us to move beyond victimhood and become active agents of change, consciously shaping our collective experience for the highest good. The 7 signs of reality hijacking are not simply theoretical concepts, but powerful tools of self-awareness, each revealing different facets of manipulation and offering clear pathways towards self-mastery. When you learn to recognize these signs, you're not just understanding the nature of manipulation, but gaining access to the very methods of its transformation, allowing you to regain command of your inner world and actively shape your external reality. It is when you are unaware of these methods that they hold power over you, but when you are conscious of them, the power of influence transfers from the external to the internal, enabling you to become an active player in your own reality, making conscious choices that align with your own truth. Understanding how your emotions are being manipulated, for example, isn't just about recognizing emotional patterns, but also about reclaiming your emotional sovereignty, learning to respond consciously rather than reacting impulsively. Similarly, recognizing how limiting beliefs restrict your potential isn't just about identifying those beliefs, but also about reprogramming your mind to create a reality aligned with your highest vision. The ability to understand these signs also implies the ability to change them, transforming what once seemed fixed and unchangeable into pathways of growth, self-discovery, and empowerment, leading to a far more intentional life experience, consciously chosen. Therefore, as you begin to recognize the different facets of reality hijacking, you will be simultaneously unlocking the keys to your own personal freedom and the mastery of your inner landscape. This exploration is guided by a central theme. You are not a victim of a predetermined reality, but a powerful creator of your own experience. This core theme serves as a beacon of empowerment, urging you to step out of the narrative of helplessness and into a role of conscious engagement with the world, becoming the active author of your own story. The journey is about cultivating self-awareness, which is the foundation for all authentic change, enabling you to recognize the subtle manipulations and the internal reactions that perpetuate the illusion of a hijacked reality. It is about taking full responsibility for your perceptions, beliefs, and choices, recognizing the immense power you hold in shaping your personal experience. And ultimately, it is about understanding the nature of your own consciousness, as it is the very fabric of your experience, influencing every interaction with the world and demonstrating the immense potential that is inherent to your own sense of self. It is by exploring your true nature that you will unlock the doors to a reality far grander than you have ever conceived, realizing that you are not just an observer, but the active force that is creating the very fabric of existence, giving you the freedom to live a life of purpose, joy, and boundless possibility. As you delve deeper into the understanding of the nature of reality and the nature of yourself, you will simultaneously be unlocking the infinite potential that has always resided within you. The reality hijacking methods that will be explored include media manipulation, educational conditioning, social programming, economic control, emotional reactivity, limiting beliefs, and the adoption of rigid identities. Each of these elements can be seen as separate, yet they are, in truth, interwoven, each influencing the other in a complex web of control. The media, for instance, shapes your perception by carefully curating narratives, limiting your perspective, and subtly molding your beliefs, often without your conscious awareness. The educational system, often perceived as a tool for knowledge, can actually limit your critical thinking and creativity, training you to conform to societal expectations, and quite often, limiting your capacity for innovation and freedom of thought. Social programming, through cultural norms and peer pressure, can limit authentic self-expression and lock you into roles that are not aligned with your true nature, leading you away from your own unique potential. Economic systems can create dependence, limiting your personal freedom and shaping your values around material wealth, trapping you within cycles of perpetual striving and never truly providing a sense of lasting satisfaction. Emotional reactivity, when left unexamined, can be manipulated to limit your personal choices and power, making you a puppet of external stimuli rather than the master of your internal landscape. Limiting beliefs, often deeply ingrained, can hold you back from reaching your full potential and prevent you from stepping into a life of boundless possibility. And the adoption of rigid identities can prevent you from exploring your true nature and the infinite potential that exists within you, leading to a life of conformity and limited experience. The next sections will delve deeply into each of these methods. The concept of consciousness as the fundamental fabric of reality is not just an abstract idea, but a fundamental truth that must be understood to truly grasp the nature of reality hijacking. Consciousness is not simply a byproduct of the brain, but rather the primary force that creates and shapes your personal experience, demonstrating the power you hold to actively design your reality. It is the lens through which you perceive and interpret the world around you, coloring every interaction with your unique beliefs, emotions, and expectations, directly shaping your personal narrative. Your consciousness does not just passively record what occurs around you, but actively constructs the very reality that you experience, transforming sensory input into meaningful perceptions. Therefore, the reality you perceive is not some external truth, but a direct projection of your internal world, constantly shifting and changing depending upon your perspective, beliefs, and individual state of awareness. You might assume that the world exists independently of your consciousness, but quantum physics has revealed that the act of observation directly affects the behavior of reality, showing that consciousness and reality are inextricably linked in a dance of creation. This demonstrates the immense power you hold, not just as an observer, but as the very creator of your world, highlighting the potential for both manipulation and for empowerment. It is through the understanding of the relationship between consciousness and reality that the true path to personal freedom can be uncovered. Throughout this exploration, key concepts will be revisited and expanded upon, forming the foundation of understanding how reality can be manipulated, and more importantly, how it can be reclaimed. The observer effect, drawn from the realm of quantum physics, will continue to serve as a powerful example of how consciousness influences the very nature of reality, emphasizing the degree to which your internal state shapes your external experience. The examination of belief systems will reveal how your deeply ingrained assumptions, whether consciously adopted or unconsciously absorbed, act as filters through which you interpret the world, directly shaping the nature of your reality. Emotional resonance, or the way in which your emotional state attracts experiences, will be explored as a mechanism that can be both consciously controlled and unconsciously exploited, revealing how emotional manipulation can be used to limit personal freedom, or, conversely, used as an active tool of creation. By exploring these concepts and their interrelation, it is possible to move from a place of passive reaction to a position of conscious creation, deliberately shaping your life to be in alignment with your highest potential. These concepts are not simply pieces of intellectual knowledge, but active tools that, when understood, can be used to actively transform your personal narrative. A self-perpetuating cycle exists, a series of loops where one system of control feeds into another, constantly reinforcing a sense of inescapable reality. This interlocking structure is not accidental, but deliberately designed to create a system of control that is incredibly difficult to escape, each part dependent upon the other. Economic systems, for instance, often exploit emotional vulnerabilities, creating dependence through fear and anxiety, which in turn reinforces limiting beliefs, preventing people from pursuing their dreams and maintaining their dependence on the very systems that exploit them. The media, with its constant barrage of carefully curated narratives, influences your perception of reality and reinforces limiting beliefs, making you more susceptible to the control of economic and social systems. Educational conditioning, starting at a young age, trains you to be compliant and conform to expectations, often stifling critical thinking and creativity, which then limits your potential and keeps you locked within a predefined societal structure. These loops, when examined, reveal the deep interconnectedness of reality hijacking, making it clear that these are not separate issues, but pieces of a larger, more complex puzzle, each serving to reinforce a system of control that is dependent on a manipulated view of reality. Understanding these loops is a critical step in breaking free from their grasp and actively creating a more empowering and authentic personal experience and a more liberated collective reality. If your reality is being hijacked, how would you even know? And what would your life look like if you were free from these external forces? What if your emotional responses are not your own, but programmed into you through years of social conditioning and media manipulation? These questions are not meant to be answered here, but to serve as a catalyst for deeper exploration and critical thinking, inviting you to consider the possibility that your everyday experiences may be far more influenced by external forces than you have ever imagined. If you are living within a hijacked reality, the chances are that you might not even be aware of it, as the manipulation is designed to feel natural and ordinary, creating a seamless experience that is all too easily accepted as the way things simply are. The key to unlocking your true freedom lies not in resisting the world, but in understanding how it works, revealing the unseen mechanics that operate in the shadows. The 7 signs are not merely symptoms of manipulation, but also the clues to understanding this complex system, each pointing to deeper levels of control, and each offering a gateway to profound self-discovery and freedom from these systems. The following sections will illuminate how these systems work, and more importantly, how you can dismantle them. By understanding these 7 signs, you're not just learning about the methods of manipulation, but also gaining access to the hidden mechanics of your reality and the power to dismantle them, moving beyond being a passive observer and into the role of conscious creator. Each sign represents a facet of your existence that may have been co-opted, and each holds a key to unlocking your true potential. These signs are not fixed conditions, but rather patterns of influence that can be recognized, deconstructed, and ultimately transformed, showing that what was once used to keep you trapped can be used to break free. Each of the 7 signs will be presented as a common occurrence, showing how deeply ingrained these methods have become, and then deconstructed to expose the mechanisms of manipulation, uncovering the ways in which these methods affect you, and then finally transformed by offering clear methods for reclaiming your power and actively creating your own reality. This process of understanding, deconstruction, and transformation will empower you to take ownership of your life, shifting you from a state of passive reaction to one of active creation. The journey to understanding reality isn't just about knowing the problem, but also knowing the solution, and actively creating a path of personal freedom that aligns with your own truth and deepest aspirations, demonstrating that each sign is both a challenge and an opportunity for transformation. This exploration is not just about identifying the problems of a hijacked reality, but also about empowering you to create a reality that is aligned with your truest self. In the following sections, you will learn not only how to recognize the various manipulations, but also how to reclaim your power and actively design a life of authenticity, freedom, and limitless potential. You are not meant to live within a cage designed by others, but to soar to your greatest expression, breaking free from the systems that limit you and moving into a life that is aligned with your own unique vision, values, and core truth. The upcoming sections will provide practical methods for empowerment that range from reprogramming limiting beliefs to mastering emotional responses and beyond, and the understanding of these systems will allow you to consciously shape your experience, moving beyond reactivity and into conscious intentionality. This journey will take you beyond the limitations of a manipulated reality and into a world of limitless possibility, where you are both the observer and the active creator of your personal narrative. Therefore, the exploration of the 7 signs is not just an exercise in identifying external control, but a journey into self-mastery and the conscious creation of a world that resonates with your highest potential. These 7 signs, though presented as individual methods of manipulation, are not isolated problems, but rather interconnected gears within a far more complex machine, each designed to reinforce the others, creating a self-sustaining system of control that operates on multiple levels of your experience. Media manipulation, with its carefully crafted narratives, shapes your perception of the world, creating a sense of fear, division, and dependence that makes you more susceptible to economic exploitation and social conditioning, thus perpetuating the cycle. Educational conditioning, with its emphasis on conformity and obedience, limits your critical thinking, making you more likely to accept the narratives presented by the media and the limitations imposed by the economic structure, creating a feedback loop that restricts your capacity for individual thought and authentic expression. Social programming, through cultural norms and peer pressure, reinforces limiting beliefs, keeping you locked within societal roles that are not aligned with your true self, making you more likely to seek validation from external sources and less likely to question the systems that govern your life. Economic systems, with their emphasis on consumerism and material wealth, create a sense of perpetual lack, further driving you into emotional reactivity as you strive to fill a void that can never truly be filled, ensuring that you remain in a state of dependence. Emotional reactivity, when left unexamined, leaves you susceptible to external manipulation, preventing you from making conscious choices and reinforcing self-limiting beliefs about your personal power and agency. Limiting beliefs, often deeply ingrained, keep you trapped within self-imposed boundaries, preventing you from stepping into your full potential and making you more vulnerable to the manipulations that surround you. And finally, the adoption of rigid identities prevents you from exploring your true nature, limiting your capacity for change and growth, making you a predictable component within the larger control mechanism. These 7 signs are not independent variables, but interwoven threads that create an intricate web of control, a closed loop that makes it difficult for individuals to break free unless this system of interconnectivity is recognized and dismantled with conscious intention, making this awareness the very first step toward liberation. Each of these signs has been unveiled not only to reveal how your reality is being influenced, but also to demonstrate how you can actively reverse these mechanisms, transforming what was once a method of control into a pathway of personal empowerment. The patterns that have been presented throughout this journey are not merely intellectual concepts, but active tools for transformation that require conscious application and a commitment to self-mastery. The initial presentation of constant media consumption, for example, was not just to demonstrate how easily your perception can be manipulated, but to show that this habit could be actively transformed into the conscious curation of information, allowing you to choose the narratives you wish to engage with rather than being passively subjected to them. The deconstruction of educational conditioning was not simply a critique of the current system, but a step toward reclaiming the power of self-directed learning, fostering curiosity and critical thinking instead of rote memorization and conformity. Unveiling the mechanisms of social programming was not merely to highlight the limitations of societal norms, but to empower you with the ability to cultivate authentic self-expression, moving beyond the constraints of external expectations and stepping into your own unique and genuine expression of self. The exploration of economic control was not just an exposition of how these systems create dependence, but an empowerment to cultivate financial independence, allowing you to define your own value and break free from cycles of debt and material pursuit. Understanding the ways in which your emotions are being manipulated was not just a recognition of your reactivity, but a pathway toward emotional self-mastery, granting you the power to consciously respond to your experiences instead of simply reacting impulsively. The unveiling of your limiting beliefs was not just a recognition of your internal constraints, but an opportunity to reprogram your mind, instilling empowering beliefs and allowing you to actively shape your reality through focused intention. And finally, the recognition of rigid identities was not merely to highlight how these self-imposed limitations restrict your experience, but to awaken you to the fluidity of your true nature, encouraging you to explore all the dimensions of your being and step into your full potential. These transformations are not passive states to be achieved, but conscious actions to be implemented, and the mastery of these actions is the path to genuine freedom. It's vital to understand that the sources of control are not simply external forces, but also exist within the landscape of your own inner world, revealing that manipulation is most effective when individuals are unaware of their own beliefs, thought patterns, and emotional responses, thus creating a vulnerability that is easily exploited. External manipulations work because they resonate with internal vulnerabilities, creating a pathway for control that would not otherwise exist. Media narratives are effective when they tap into deeply ingrained fears and insecurities, shaping your perceptions through emotional manipulation. Educational conditioning works because it targets your natural desire for approval, training you to seek validation from external sources rather than your own internal sense of truth and self-worth. Social programming thrives when individuals are disconnected from their authentic selves, making them seek acceptance through conformity rather than embracing their unique essence. Economic systems perpetuate their power through a carefully cultivated sense of lack, making you believe that happiness lies in material possessions and not in the intrinsic value of your existence. Emotional manipulation works because it targets your unconscious reactions, preventing you from responding with clarity and intention, which keeps you in a reactive state where you are easily controlled. Self-limiting beliefs act as invisible barriers that prevent you from recognizing your true potential, maintaining your status as an easily influenced being. And rigid identities limit your exploration of self, trapping you within predefined roles that often do not align with your true nature, and thus create internal conflict and a lack of fulfillment. The ultimate strategy of these manipulations is to keep you unaware of your own power, to convince you that you are a victim of circumstance, rather than the active creator of your own experiences, and therefore, the liberation from these methods begins with acknowledging the power that has always resided within you. The concept of reality as something that is fixed and immutable, an external world that exists independently of your perception, is itself the primary illusion that must be dismantled for you to achieve true autonomy. This idea is the cornerstone of manipulation, as it creates the belief that you are merely a passive observer of a reality that you cannot change, leaving you powerless in the face of forces that are far beyond your control. The deeper truth, however, is that the physical world is not static, but a fluid and interactive experience, shaped by the very nature of your consciousness, your emotional state, your beliefs, and your individual intention. The world does not exist as a fixed entity, but rather as a malleable field of potential, constantly responding to the unique frequency of your own awareness. The limitations that you perceive are not external barriers, but internal reflections of your own beliefs, reflecting what you believe to be possible or impossible, demonstrating the degree to which you actively shape the nature of your own experience. Just as a sculptor shapes clay with intention, your consciousness shapes your reality through perception, belief, and action, showing that you are not a passive observer, but an active creator of the very world that you experience. The world is not something that happens to you, but something that happens through you, and the act of simply understanding this concept is the very first step toward reclaiming the power of creation. When you shift your perspective from a belief in an unchangeable external world to an understanding of reality as something that is shaped by your consciousness, you are simultaneously stepping into the role of a conscious creator, transforming from a state of victimhood into a position of empowerment. This individual journey of recognizing and transforming these manipulations is not separate from the larger movement toward collective awakening, and, in fact, individual empowerment is a necessary precursor to creating a more conscious and harmonious world. The more individuals awaken to these methods of control, the less effective they become, and the more these systems are revealed, the less power they have. Manipulation thrives in the darkness of ignorance, but it cannot exist in the light of awareness, highlighting the importance of not only focusing on individual freedom, but also supporting others in finding their own liberation. When you break free from the cycle of manipulation, you create a ripple effect, inspiring others to do the same, showing the power that exists in action and intention. A society composed of conscious, empowered individuals is far less susceptible to manipulation, as they have reclaimed the power that has always resided within them. The shift from a society that is controlled to a society that is empowered begins with individual awakenings, and this is the true meaning of the collective movement, where each action that is aligned with personal truth has an exponentially larger effect, shifting the dynamic of society as a whole. The most effective methods for dismantling these systems of control are not found in external battles, but through internal transformations, showcasing that your individual actions are not just for your own benefit, but for the betterment of the whole, making you a crucial participant in creating a more just and conscious world. The power that has been demonstrated throughout this exploration is not limited to simply recognizing negative patterns, but also transforming them into positive cycles of empowerment, showcasing the true potential that exists within self-mastery and conscious choice. The loops of manipulation, once understood, can be reversed, creating virtuous cycles where awareness leads to empowerment, and empowerment leads to more awareness, creating a feedback loop that elevates consciousness. The practice of emotional self-mastery, initially presented as a counter to emotional manipulation, is not just about regulating your internal state, but creating a foundation for living in alignment with your highest potential, allowing you to act consciously instead of reacting impulsively, which in turn empowers others to do the same. When you are centered and in your power, you inspire others to be centered in their own power, showcasing the exponential effect of internal transformation. The mastery of the mind, revealed as a crucial step toward reprogramming limiting beliefs, is not just about self-improvement, but about creating a positive feedback loop where empowering beliefs lead to empowering experiences, which then reinforce empowering beliefs, resulting in an upward spiral of personal growth and a life that is actively and intentionally created. The active curation of media, originally presented as a counter to media manipulation, is not simply about consuming information wisely, but also about actively shaping the narratives that influence your perceptions, creating a positive cycle of mental clarity and freedom from external influence. These transformations are not separate concepts, but interconnected pieces of a larger picture, revealing the power of conscious action and intention, and the true potential of humanity when operating from a position of self-mastery. Your beliefs are not just abstract mental concepts, but filters through which you experience the very fabric of reality, and therefore must be consciously examined and intentionally reprogrammed to achieve true liberation. They are not passive aspects of your inner world, but active forces that shape the nature of your personal experience, attracting or repelling opportunities, and creating a framework that defines your reality. When you are trapped in limiting beliefs, you are essentially creating an invisible cage, preventing yourself from stepping into your full potential and maintaining your position as an easily influenced being. Identity, similarly, is not a fixed condition, but a fluid self-concept that can be redefined and reimagined to reflect your truest self, rather than the roles that have been imposed upon you, revealing that the limitations of identity are self-imposed. Therefore, the practice of consciously choosing your beliefs and defining your identity is one of the most powerful acts of creation, shifting the direction of your entire experience and freeing you from the patterns of the past. When you reprogram a self-limiting belief with an empowering one, you are not just changing your thought patterns, you are actively changing the trajectory of your life and creating new possibilities that were once invisible to you. When you shed a rigid identity that is not aligned with your true essence, you open yourself to all the potential that exists within your being, transforming from someone who is playing a role to someone who is expressing the truest version of themselves. These transformations are not merely about changing aspects of yourself, but about actively reshaping the foundation of your entire reality and shifting your role from being a puppet to being the master of your personal destiny. Consciousness, the very fabric of your experience, is not a passive observer, but an active force that shapes the nature of reality, revealing that you are the creator of your world, rather than merely a spectator. By consciously directing this force through intention, belief, and action, you can actively design a more empowering reality for both yourself and for the world around you. The limitations that you perceive are not inherent to reality itself, but reflections of your own beliefs, showing that true power lies in understanding the degree to which you create your own experience. When you shift your perception of reality from a state of being happened to into a state of happening through, you are simultaneously awakening to the vast potential that lies within, revealing that the power of creation is not something to be sought outside of yourself, but a fundamental aspect of your own being. The understanding of this concept is not a mere philosophical insight, but a practical application of how the world is created through perception, belief, and intention, and the conscious integration of these elements has the power to radically alter the course of your life. The transformation begins with the individual, but the effect ripples outward, demonstrating the power of your own unique expression of consciousness to influence the collective experience of humanity. The understanding of consciousness as the very engine of creation is not just an idea. It's the very key to understanding both how reality is manipulated and how liberation is achieved, showcasing that you are, in essence, the very author of your own unique destiny. The core questions that have guided us along this path have now been answered with the clarity and precision that this exploration demands. How do you know when your reality is being hijacked? The answer lies in the recognition of the 7 signs that have been explored, each representing a facet of manipulation that has been woven into the fabric of your daily experience, and it's in the awareness of these patterns that the path to liberation begins. What is the nature of reality? The answer is that it is not a fixed and immutable condition, but a malleable and dynamic experience, shaped by the very nature of consciousness, revealing that the power to shape your world is intrinsic to your being and not something that exists outside of you. And finally, what does personal empowerment look like? It is the ability to recognize the patterns of manipulation and consciously choose to transform them, stepping into the role of the active creator of your life and the embodiment of your true nature, showing that freedom is not a distant dream, but a very present possibility that begins within your own consciousness. These answers are not simply intellectual conclusions, but practical insights that have the power to transform your life. The original hook, which questioned whether your reality was entirely your own, is now answered with a resounding assertion that while manipulation exists, the power to reclaim your reality has always resided within you, demonstrating that true freedom begins with understanding the mechanisms of control and consciously choosing to dismantle them. The seemingly inescapable loops of control, those self-perpetuating cycles of manipulation, can now be recognized for what they are: patterns that can be disrupted by the power of conscious awareness and intentional action. The media cycle, which was previously presented as a system that shapes your perception and reinforces limiting beliefs, can now be transformed into a source of wisdom and inspiration through the practice of conscious curation, allowing you to choose the narratives that support your highest potential, instead of being limited by those that are imposed upon you. The educational system, once a vehicle for conformity and obedience, can be transformed into a pathway of self-directed learning, allowing you to explore your own unique passions and cultivate the knowledge that aligns with your authentic self, instead of limiting your awareness to a system that only supports the status quo. The social programming that has, until now, defined your perceived role and limited your self-expression can now be broken through conscious awareness, allowing you to embrace your unique individuality and step into your most genuine expression of self, no longer being a passive participant in someone else's design. The economic structures that have created cycles of dependence can be transformed into opportunities for financial independence, allowing you to define your own value and choose to live a life of purpose, rather than simply existing to fulfill external demands. Your emotional reactivity, once a source of manipulation, can now become a pathway to emotional self-mastery, granting you the freedom to respond with clarity and not be controlled by external circumstances. The deeply ingrained limiting beliefs that have held you back can now be reprogrammed with empowering convictions, unleashing the very power that resides within your mind. And the rigid identities that have limited your potential can now be broken through the understanding of the fluidity of your true nature, revealing the infinite possibilities that exist within you and all of reality. These cycles are not unbreakable, they are self-perpetuating patterns of belief, and when those beliefs are changed, the patterns dissolve, revealing the freedom that exists when you make the conscious choice to step into your true power. The concept of power, often associated with external authority, must be redefined as the internal capacity to shape your own reality through self-awareness, emotional mastery, and conscious creation, revealing the true source of all power, your own inherent potential. True power is not about controlling others, but about mastering yourself, aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your highest aspirations. The belief that power is something that resides outside of you is one of the most fundamental forms of manipulation, and one that must be dissolved to achieve true freedom, as this belief is the very mechanism that allows external systems to hold power over you, thus making this concept the foundation of your liberation. External forces only have power when you give it to them, when you believe that you lack the ability to shape your own experiences, and when you surrender your will to external validation, reinforcing a belief that you are powerless and incapable. The act of reclaiming power, therefore, begins with the understanding that it was always within you and never truly given away, revealing that the true source of power is not external, but an intrinsic aspect of your own being and the embodiment of your own sense of agency. The external battles that seem so overwhelming are in reality internal conflicts, and the true victory lies not in fighting external forces, but in reclaiming your own inner authority, showing that the key to true freedom is not found in escaping the world, but in mastering yourself. When you recognize the signs of reality hijacking and take active steps to transform those patterns of control, you are simultaneously releasing the role of victimhood and embracing the identity of conscious creator, making the understanding of these concepts not just a source of knowledge, but also a responsibility. The act of reclaiming your reality is not simply an intellectual exercise, but a journey of profound self-discovery and the embracing of your own power, resulting in an end to the cycles of blame and reactivity. When you realize that you have always had the ability to shape your experiences, you are no longer limited by the circumstances of the past or the expectations of the future, and instead, you step into a state of active participation with the present, fully inhabiting your own agency. This understanding allows you to stop blaming external forces and start taking personal responsibility for all aspects of your life, from your beliefs to your identity to your emotional states and all experiences in your reality. The power to change was never lost. It was merely forgotten, concealed under layers of manipulated perceptions and self-limiting beliefs, revealing that true liberation is the return to your own internal authority. When you understand the mechanisms of manipulation and reclaim your personal power, you are not just changing your own life, but contributing to a larger movement of consciousness that is transforming the very fabric of reality, demonstrating that your journey is not just an individual one, but one that is impacting the entire collective. Now that you have a deeper understanding of the methods of reality hijacking and the steps toward reclaiming your own power, what will you create? Now that you understand the nature of reality is malleable, how will you actively shape your experience? The journey that you have just begun has the potential to expand in infinite directions, each guided by your own unique vision, values, and deepest desires, and the possibilities for growth and transformation are truly without limit and only bound by your own belief. The information that has been presented here is not the end of the path, but simply the very beginning of your journey into self-mastery and the conscious creation of your personal narrative and, ultimately, your own unique experience of life. The world that you have always perceived was only a fraction of the full potential that exists within you, a limited perspective based on external influence. And now that you are aware of the nature of these manipulations, you can actively begin to shape the entire experience. The understanding of reality that has been presented here is only the tip of the iceberg, and there are many more facets of consciousness to explore, methods of creation to discover, and dimensions of existence to experience, expanding into a territory of infinite potential and growth. As you step into this new realm of self-awareness, remember that you are not alone on this journey, and your experiences and insights are a valuable part of this unfolding process, creating a community of shared growth, understanding, and, most importantly, empowerment. The comments section below is a place to share your personal breakthroughs, to ask questions that have arisen, and to connect with others who are actively creating their own reality, knowing that this collective engagement creates a ripple effect that expands exponentially, reaching those who are still trapped within the illusion of a hijacked reality. As you begin to apply the knowledge you have gained, share the transformations you are experiencing and the insights that have changed your life, and by engaging with others, you are not just supporting yourself, but creating a shared sense of understanding that is essential for a collective shift in consciousness. By engaging in a dialogue and sharing your experiences, you create an opportunity to learn from each other, supporting the expansion of knowledge and the potential of self-mastery, which in turn accelerates the entire process of liberation, both personally and collectively. The questions you have and the insights you have experienced are invaluable and provide the foundation for future explorations and deeper understandings of these concepts, revealing that your own unique perspective is an essential element in this shared experience. The concepts that have been explored here are just the beginning, as there are many other dimensions of understanding that must be explored to achieve true mastery, and these will be the focus of future content, expanding upon the information that has been provided here. We will be diving deeper into advanced techniques of consciousness manipulation, revealing how these methods operate on subtler levels of perception and how you can defend yourself against these types of influence, while also exploring the very mechanics of creation, uncovering how your intentions, beliefs, and actions come together to manifest your personal reality. We will also dive into what it truly means to live in your full divine potential, exploring how you can break free from all limitations and step into a life that is completely aligned with your truest self, revealing the full scope of your capabilities and the limitless possibilities that exist within the universe. This journey will take us into deeper realms of understanding, exploring all the subtle aspects of reality that will reveal the full potential of humanity and the true nature of consciousness, providing the very map for liberation that we have been seeking. This journey is far from over, and the exploration is just beginning, demonstrating that the understanding of reality and the nature of self is a never-ending process that is always evolving, expanding, and growing with intention. The time has come to implement the wisdom that you have acquired and step into the role of the active creator of your own life, breaking free from the constraints of a hijacked reality and moving into a world that is consciously designed. You are not simply a passive observer, but a powerful force of creation, and you have the power to shape your destiny, which begins with your intention to do so, making this a moment of transformation that will ripple into all aspects of your life. Like, subscribe, and share this message with those who are ready to awaken, and may the path you choose be one that is always aligned with your highest truth, reminding you that your power is not something that you seek, but something that you embody. The journey ahead is vast and full of potential, and may you walk it with awareness, intention, and the unwavering belief in your own unlimited capacity to create the reality that you desire, and may you never forget that you are the master of your own unique experience.